Last year, as I recall, and correct me if I have any of this wrong, you bought your mom a house for Christmas.
I did.
So
yes.
what then do you buy?
Thank you.
Starting off as a wrestler, then climbing his way into the music industry, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson is a household name when it comes to his fitness as well as several blockbuster movies through the years. He started gaining popularity back in the 90s with his signature eyebrow pose on the stage. Is there anyone on the planet who doesn't know this guy? He was even hailed as the sexiest man alive by People's Magazine back in 2016. Although a majority of us know he started gaining popularity as a wrestler in WWE, there are a lot of interesting facts about this big man with a bigger heart. Listed here are the little known facts about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We are giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. First off, his family is deeply rooted in the wrestling industry. You got that right. The Rock's family is deeply ingrained in the wrestling industry. For starters, his grandfather, Peter Maivia, was a professional Samoan American wrestler who was also a member of Hawaii's National Wrestling Alliance. Dwayne's father, Rocky Johnson, was not just any wrestler. He was also one of the 2 black champions in WWE, the first ever to hold the title. Can you believe his grandmother is also into wrestling? Leah Maivia was also one of the pioneer female wrestlers of her time. So there's no doubt, wrestling really is in his blood. His first acting gig? Playing his dad. With a growing number of fans, soon enough he found himself acting on TV. And the role, none other than playing his dad, Rocky Johnson. He made an appearance in an episode called That Wrestling Show of the hit series That 70s Show back in 1999. Before the ring, he played the field. Literally, he ran all over the field as a football player. Before he entered the wrestling industry, The Rock was first heavily invested in his football and played for the University of Miami back when he was still a university student. Under Miami, he won a national championship in 1991, wherein his aspiration to become a professional football player increased tenfold. Upon graduating, he signed a contract as a linebacker under Calgary Stampeders of the Canadian Football League in 1995. He played as a part of the practice roster, but 2 months into the season he was cut. Thankfully, it all worked out for him a few years down the line. His first starring role landed him a Guinness record. In 2001, The Rock became a part of the Mummy franchise when he landed a role in the second film as one of the antagonists. The franchise was a hit that led to a spin-off and at the same time landed him his first starring role for the movie The Scorpion King. But did you know he was offered a whopping $5.5 million for this role? Quite a shocker, right? With this offer, it was reported to be the highest paid salary for a first-time lead actor, which gained him an entry to the Guinness World Record. He almost played Willy Wonka. Can you imagine The Rock as Willy Wonka? All jacked up and intimidating? Just wow. We all know Johnny Depp bagged that role in the 2005 remake, but director Tim Burton admitted that having The Rock play the iconic role did cross his mind, but ultimately it went to Johnny Depp instead. At the time, The Rock had only just started his career in Hollywood, and he also posted a snippet of the original film in 1971, citing that it was one of his favorite films, which he shared with the movie director Tim Burton. SmackDown, probably one of the biggest contributions he made for WWE, aside from his iconic eyebrow raise, was the addition of his expression SmackDown into the Merriam-Webster dictionary. It was part of 20 new words released back in July 2007, which is really rad. 2 rocks, 1 stone. Due to the high amount of action scenes involved in his movies, of course, The Rock has his own stunt double. Who else will play his part but none other than his cousin, Tanoi Reed, who shares the same build as him. Reed played as his stunt double for over 15 years and is a distant cousin of his. Huey, Louie, Dewey? Back when he was a university student, his football teammates called him Dewey Johnson, which caught on when his mom called him that in front of everyone. Even after taking on the name of The Rock, his past teammates still called him Dewey in recent interviews. He was quite the troublemaker as a kid. Back in a 2006 interview with NPR, The Rock admitted to having been arrested around 8 or 9 times when he was just 17. He was mostly arrested due to theft and small fights, but fast forward to the future, these experiences became the inspiration for a portrayal in the movie Gridiron Gang, wherein he served as the football coach for several juvenile delinquents. Country music is his jam. Living in Nashville sure did rub off on him, especially in terms of music, which was prevalent in his teenage years. He opened up to Twitter about his favorite country singers such as George Strait, Johnny Paycheck, Merle Haggard, and Jamie Johnson. His past teammates also shared how the actor is quite known for singing a lot of country music while riding the bus. Talk about a country bumpkin. Wrestler, actor, writer? Unknown to a great many, but The Rock authored a book. That's right, he released his autobiography entitled The Rock Says, which was released in 2000 and co-written with Joseph Layden. It was released at the height of his wrestling career. The book even became a New York Times bestseller, where it topped the charts for a few weeks. He's a selfie king. We all know how active The Rock is in social media and how he's quite fond of selfies. But did you know he received the Guinness record for doing that? During the premiere of his film San Andreas back in 2015, The Rock snapped a multitude of selfies, 103 to be precise, all in a span of 3 minutes. No excuses, never be denied. We all know how intense and heavy The Rock's workouts are. He shares on social media how committed he is to fitness, waking up as early as 4:30 a.m. to start his routine. It's no wonder Under Armour, a famous sports equipment company, reached out to him to collaborate. The result? The Project Rock collection sold out within minutes of its release. It consists of several clothing designs, a headphone deal, and a shoe line. Just another business venture that hit it off in the market. Woo! From the likes of Maivia to Maui. In 2016, The Rock lent his voice and gave his life to Maui, a demigod from Disney's animated film Moana. He shared in a 2017 interview with Teen Vogue that aside from bearing similarities to Maui, he admitted that his grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia, was the inspiration behind the character's design. And true enough, a side-by-side comparison between his father and Maui nailed the image. The Rock says it was to pay tribute to his grandfather. The heavy tattoos on Maui's body are reminiscent of his late grandfather's. But did you know, aside from wrestling, The Rock's grandfather was also an actor? In 1967, his father managed to land a role in You Only Live Once, a James Bond movie. He also admitted that when he received a demo of the song Maui sings, You're Welcome, he was intimidated, and he kept listening to the song on repeat to get it right. He did more than get it right, he actually nailed it. He butted heads with co-actor Vin Diesel. Being added to the roster of famous stars in the thrilling action-adventure franchise of The Fast and Furious is another milestone in his acting career. However, there was a growing controversy regarding a certain co-star. Rumor has it that The Rock was in literal rocky waters with actor Vin Diesel. At the filming of The Fate of the Furious, The Rock expressed in an Instagram post back in 2016 where he hinted a few words of criticism to a certain co-star. Their feud even went as far as both actors refusing to film together since they can't bear to be together. They even avoided each other during promotional tours. He has arachnophobia. Do you think a big tough guy like him isn't afraid of anything? That's where you're wrong. The Rock admitted that he was afraid of spiders. In 2007, he had the chance to face his fears when he was invited to the Ellen DeGeneres show and they had him hold a giant tarantula in his hands. His wrestling reached another galaxy. Aside from making a cameo in that 70s show, The Rock also made an appearance in an episode of Star Trek Voyager back in 2000. In the episode, he played the champion gladiator, wherein he fought with a crew member of the USS Voyager. He even managed to showcase his famous wrestling moves in this episode too. He has his own production company. In 2016, The Rock announced on social media the birth of his production company called $7 Productions. He co-created this with Danny Garcia and even shared the history behind the name. When he was undrafted at the Canadian Football League, he only had $7 in his pocket. Shortly after that, he signed with the World Wrestling Federation and the rest is history. A literal rags to riches story paired with hard work and perseverance. He'd rather go by his real name. And finally, The Rock, or should I just say Dwayne Johnson, pretty much stopped using his wrestler name when he retired from professional wrestling. He shared in a 2006 interview with Entertainment Magazine how he thinks that by using his stage name, he's limiting himself to what he can achieve in the industry, especially in the movies. But let's be honest, when you hear The Rock, what or who goes into your mind? Most definitely Dwayne Johnson. Johnson and WWE CEO Vince McMahon co-own the name The Rock, but ultimately Johnson owns the right to the name, so no one can actually use that name other than him. And there you have it. Here are the little-known facts about Dwayne The Rock Johnson. If you liked this, stay tuned for more.